1,586 days since bliss. A lot is going on. Let's see. Making sure that I'm on. Okay. So I think that is, yep, I'm on. Okay. So let's start over, make sure everything's okay. Can everybody hear me? Yep. Sounds good. All right. So today is 1,586 days since Richard was brutally murdered on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. On Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, July 2020. For being a whistleblower, Fort Bliss active duty soldier whistleblower, and he's murdered on Fort Bliss. And it's a code red. Now, I don't believe it's an authorized code red. It's absolutely illegal. I don't think any code reds are authorized, are they? I don't think they are. No, please, if you're military, if you're a veteran, let me know if code reds, if internal orders to murder a fellow soldier are authorized. I don't know. For being a whistleblower since the camps, and then in 2021 the emergency intake center, hundreds of thousands of children taken. The taken children unaccompanied. Where did they come from? Unaccompanied, hundreds of thousands. I mean, no way, no way. These are taken children. It has really bothered me, and I've been talking about it for a long time. They always say, well, they're unaccounted for, but I'm like, well, wait a minute. First, they were unaccompanied. What the heck is that? Hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied children. And then there was a article, and I didn't put it up. I need to put it up. Please, someone else put it up. Share it. And it is about a 2-year-old being at the border in Texas, unaccompanied 2-year-old with a little note. No, these are taken children, y'all. These are taken children, and or extorted taken children. There is crime behind that. Just being unaccompanied, there's crimes behind that. And then to be trafficked up into the United States, and then for our military to take them in, saying it's humanitarian, and then they're gone. They're just nowhere to be found. Nowhere, they're registered. They have their registration number written on their clothes. Registration number, we've been told, even sometimes on their body, on their skin, written on their skin. And hundreds of thousands of them through our military base, Fort Bliss, and they're mostly dead. And this is done with taxpayers' money, and where's the media in this? This is huge. This is huge. This is what kind of money was spent on this trafficking, and then to use our military. And our reports are that the tactical move storage units are involved in all of this. In our son's case, in the Walmart mass shooting case, and we know that that whole kilometer 29, they had tactical move storage units there, which are the normal storage units. And, you can put humans in there, you can put children, you can put equipment, you can put weapons, you can put ammunition, you could put drugs, you could put all of that. And then, Delta Battery 143, which was Richard's unit, was a special unit because they had access to fuel. So then you have fuel access. Um, this is very serious, and it all needs to be properly investigated. And we're very glad that we have a change of administration now. We'll see what happens with this change of administration, but we know from Tom Homan, the new border czar, that he has absolutely identified El Paso as the epicenter for the criminal trafficking, for the human trafficking, and for the politicians that they will also, um, I guess, point out which ones have contributed to this crimes against humanity. They say it's humanitarian. No, this was crimes against humanity. Um, and, it seems like 2020, 2021, a lot of crimes against humanity. Um, and that they need to be exposed, the politicians involved in this, and that they need to be prosecuted. And I can tell you right now that one of the top politicians is someone that we met, that someone that really betrayed us, someone that I believe targeted us, um, someone that absolutely is a failure, and that is Veronica Escobar. And, there's so much to tell about Veronica Escobar because she was the latest. Let's just start with the latest. Her absolute failure with $1 billion, just about $1 billion, total failure. Okay, how many of us would love to have $1 billion, right? And you get $1 billion and you're a total failure. Um, she was practically given $1 billion to get Joe Biden reelected. She was a co-chair for the Biden reelection campaign. And then, of course, when Biden could no longer, uh, he can no longer do the job. Um, and even besides all the investigations that should take place about the allegations of all the criminal um, with China, those are very, very concerning crimes that the Biden administration, with his son and all that, have committed. That all needs to be investigated. But he can no longer do the job. That was very clear. I don't understand why this is the way it is. And then they had all this money. They had raised just short of $1 billion, and they quickly switched it over to Kamala Harris. Um, and Kamala Harris became, like overnight, the the sweetheart, the media sweetheart for the Democrat Party, and quickly, without a blink, I don't even think a blink, nothing. Veronica Escobar, the representative for El Paso District, the 16th District, she got on that bandwagon. And, I think a call was made or whatever, and she became the co chair for the Harris campaign. She became very quickly the co chairman for the Harris campaign and over this $1 billion. And, it was so mismanaged. And that's not me talking. That's what I'm reading that's being reported over and over again in the media, that was totally mismanaged, um, the whole campaign. And, you know, with almost, I would say, way more than double of what President Trump had raised. I think he raised like short of 400,000, and the Harris campaign $1 billion, just short of $1 billion. I mean, yeah, that's a big difference. But yet, it wasn't even a close race. Donald Trump totally is victorious, swept the Harrises, uh, so swept them away with everything, with everything. And the gains, even where the historical Democrat uh, Party wins significantly, they really lost in percentages. Donald Trump definitely, when you look at all the numbers, it is just, the victory was so overwhelming, was such a mandate. And we're very grateful for that because we have spent 4 years um, submitting all of the crime that we've identified, the criminals we've identified, the leads and everything, submitting to the agencies and open records and everything, putting all the puzzle pieces together for our son. And we did have a victory through that. We did get the declaration of death that absolutely declared Richard murdered on Fort Bliss, right? And now, but they haven't given us our son's remains because they're evidence, right? Our son's remains are the brutal evidence of what they did to him. And, we want his remains. They can't, they've damaged it enough. They try to damage his name, his character. Of course, they did that to his physical body. Um, but we want his remains, and we want the accountability for those that did this kind of crime to him. And it is a criminal group, and that criminal group is connected to Veronica Escobar. So Veronica Escobar is, just a failure with $1 billion, right? She's a failure with $1 billion. Can't even win one little. I mean, Trump swept Kamala Harris away, away in the dumpster. And this is with $1 billion. And let's say it the way it is. Let's say the truth. The media was for Harris. The media was against Trump. And with all of that free media coverage and the free slanders on Trump and MAGA, Harris still was swept into the dumpster. I mean, even on the college campuses, um, Trump made gains, which is just like so amazing work. And this is done with less than half of what Harris had and less than half of all the media help that she had. She was like the media sweetheart, like Ernest Christopher Grant. And Veronica Escobar, when you look back to 2019 and you can do like a news search for January 1st, I put in 2019 to January of 2022, and just read that news coverage for Veronica Escobar and her responses. She refused to meet with the President of the United States. This is a representative of El Paso who had just had a mass shooting that killed, one of the biggest in U.S. history, killed 23 people, injured 23 more, right? The President of the United States wanted to go there, speak with her on this absolute terrible crime, offer help, offer what he could do. She refused to meet with the President of the United States. Now, what the hell you know, ask yourself, that is so against the people of El Paso because her constituents, yes, she was voted in, but her constituents are not all her fans. Not all of them voted for her. And so what is she saying? She was saying that she had so much avarice for Donald Trump that she couldn't even recognize the president of the United States because he was duly elected president of the United States. She was a poor loser. She's a poor loser, poor mismanaged. She's a mismanager of $1 billion, a mismanager of El Paso, mismanager of politics, of diplomacy. She's a mismanager. She's a loser. She's an absolute loser. She's losing for El Paso. She's losing for Juarez because Juarez is a Siamese sister city of El Paso. They're connected. She's losing for her district and that connected to her district, which is Juarez, Mexico. She's losing with all respect for diplomacy. You've got to look. We met with her, and it makes me, it corroborates our suspicion that what happened to Richard was a hate crime because he was a Trump supporter, because he was, a Mark Dice supporter, because he was a convicted Christian, because he was a whistleblower and against this human trafficking, because he was not for illegal immigration. Richard was born in Poland. He was legally in the country. He was legally serving his country because we had to go through all the paperwork. We had to go through the naturalization for him. He had to learn English. Remember, he was, over 5 years old when we adopted him. His brother was almost 8 years old when we adopted him. They had to learn the language. They had to learn their country. They had to learn patriotism. And we didn't even live in the United States. We lived in Ireland and Heidelberg, Germany. K-Town, right outside of Ramstein Air Base, the big U.S. presence in Europe. And, but we taught them to love their country. They were naturalized in the United States. We taught them that the law, to respect the law. So when he saw something, he was told, if you see something, say something. He took that seriously. He wanted to be a criminal, a CID, an investigator in the Army. And with her avarice for President Trump, for MAGA, she blamed the Walmart mass shooting on MAGA, on that rhetoric, knowing, having access to the records that Patrick Crusius could not possibly be. Everyone knew it at the beginning that had access to the records because he had all these school records showing that he had self-harming autism, that he was in special education, that his neighbors absolutely said, oh, he was out there in the street when he was 3 years old, banging his head on the sidewalk, that he was in the classrooms, couldn't even participate in special ed. They had to put him in a special spot because he would start hitting himself, getting frustrated, that he was very slow in his verbal skills. His verbal skills came much later in life. That he was, just listen to I don't know why that went off, but anyway, the Just listen to the evidence. And it is very clear that Veronica Escobar knew that there were multiple witnesses saying there's multiple shooters, that there absolutely Patrick Crucius surrendered himself twice. The first time they sent him away. Come back a little later. Come back a little later, Patrick. You're a little bit too soon. Did you eat your orange finished? Eat your orange finished. Wait until your manifesto is loaded up there. He'll be done with your manifesto soon because he could not possibly do that himself. His severe mental health condition, he would not be able to do that himself. He would not be able to carry out. Was he with the group? Yes, he was with the group. They took advantage of him. A special needs individual they took advantage of. They wanted to make him the scapegoat. And Veronica Escobar played into the orchestration. It's all documented. All documented in, what is it, U.S. News Today and Fox and all of them have her statements. And there is just avarice after avarice after avarice for Donald Trump, for MAGA. She is, she's biased. She cooperates. The other evidence that we have that the crime against Richard was, of course, for his whistleblowing. Yes. They could have sent him away. They could have handled it a much different way. But because of their hatred, this was a hate crime. In our opinion, this was a hate crime on top of wanting to silence a whistleblower. And Veronica Escobar, just a little bit of looking back. She knew that the Walmart mass shooting case was sealed. Why? Because witnesses said there were multiple shooters. Why didn't she do a congressional when a Fort Bliss soldier witness in Richard's case requested a congressional hearing? Why didn't she do a congressional for the hundreds of thousands of children that are now mostly dead and the breaches of security of Fort Bliss? She has oversight of Fort Bliss. She's on the arms committee. Why didn't she the Walmart case, Richard's case, the children, and now somebody like her that is just a failure after failure. They entrust $1 billion to her. And then they're like crying, oh, we lost. We lost. Are you kidding me? You entrust $1 billion to a loser? To somebody that is clearly not representing her district? Not clearly there's an immigration problem. And she's part of the criminal group of Leilani Hart and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. Absolutely associated with them. Absolutely. There's the evidence is clear to those that from the same family targeted Yvonne Rosales, her administration, Judge Roger Rodriguez, a key whistleblower in our case and also the Walmart mass shooting case, targeted the Walmart mass shooting case, targeted President Trump with all of this race, targeted El Paso. You understand that when she's so divisive like this and has so much avarice that she can't even meet with the President of the United States to help the victims in cases like this, that she is absolutely targeting her own constituents to hurt financially, hurt by the loss of their loved ones, hurt justice, and then absolutely assign Penny Hamilton, or approve. She had to approve Penny Hamilton's pay. Penny Hamilton is just an individual imposter on the criminal law magistrate court, and she was the one assigned to be the magistrate judge when she was an imposter. She wasn't even elected like the law required. She had no authority. All the orders have no authority. Still today, she sealed the case. She magistrated him. She ordered him detained. She arraigned him. And she also had, from the information that we have, active involvement in Richard's case. And now she's over at the DA's office after retiring and illegally collecting money that she didn't even earn. That makes her a thief. So, and Veronica Escobar knows all of this. That's her business, is to know all of this. And, I'll put out more. But I really need to alert the people of El Paso of what they've been through and why they've been through it. So that you're not thinking, oh, these are just tough times. No, you've been targeted. You've been targeted and misused and exploited. And the taxes there are too high because of that. And, paying taxes for this? Really? For someone that is going to be lax on immigration, that's going to be part of a criminal group that exploits immigration. Well, they're immigration fraudsters. Immigration fraudsters, so that they can illegally get U.S. benefits. And they're associated with immigration fraudsters. And, with Beto O'Rourke, look, I've got a picture of Danae Katzen with Beto O'Rourke. This is the same family that targeted the Walmart case, that targeted us. And absolutely, Veronica Escobar knows all of this. And she knows them. And it was Texas Hart that, he was in the news leading Black Lives Matter things, singing the songs for Black Lives. They are absolutely are all connected. The evidence is absolutely hard evidence of it. And Veronica Escobar was given $1 billion to, be the co-chair to, I'm sure she wasn't alone with the $1 billion, but I mean, she's co-chairing the Harris campaign. That kind of power. I think that there's something really stinky going on in El Paso that they would like to keep covered and keep going on. In order for her to get that kind of influence and power, and who is she? She is just up to no good, up to no good, and that's all being documented. And so, and she's, she's under pressure. She's under pressure because they gave her everything, the media and $1 billion. And it was like, okay, you've got to get Kamala Harris to win. We're going to shine her up really, really good. And she lost. And she didn't just lose, she was swept in the dustbin. She was swept in the dustbin. Now, what kind of co-chair is that? And I can imagine, you know, uh, I can imagine that there are some that are not too happy with Veronica Escobar, and we're not because she did not respond to our congressionals, and our um, family has been targeted by her. Um, we had a El Paso Fort Bliss soldier that requested a congressional hearing because he was a witness, and he just got bullied, and she did not respond to that. So no, we don't. We feel like she needs to be prosecuted. She needs to be arrested and prosecuted. And then when you think of these hundreds of thousands of children that were taken, these are taken children. They're unaccompanied because they're taken. And they just throw them in these camps, throw them in the emergency intake center, and they, register them. We were told they write the numbers on their skin, on their chest or their back. Some of them it was that way, and some of it was on their clothing. And where are they? What the heck is going on? And you heard it. They're all saying that they're mostly dead, and you hear Tom Homan saying that is our aim. Where are those children, and what politicians failed? And of course, it's Veronica Escobar. And there's more to it. And any representative worth their salt would try to help a Gold Star family get back the remains of their loved one, of their soldier. Any representative. But because of the avarice she has, I believe for Christians, for MAGA, for President Trump, for anyone that gives him time, gives him respect as president, respects the office of president. She doesn't respect the office of president. She had a mass shooting in her city, in her district, and her constituents were put through hell. And the president of the United States offered help, wanted to offer condolences, wanted to offer healing and help and monetary help. And she refused. Now, that's not someone that is thinking straight. That's not a winner. That's not a winner. That's a loser. A loser for El Paso. And Yeah. Uh, so much is going on behind the scenes. I'm burning the midnight oil because of all what we're documenting, all the information that we're getting in. And we got in information about Belen Rocha today, about Danae Katz. And, Belen had um, some trouble again, a lot of trouble. Danae Katzen's in a lot of trouble again, uh, you know, and more and more. Um, I don't know, I think that at that they need to thank us. I think Boleyn really needs to thank us because if her case went through the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, she needs to give us a call and say, "Thank you so much. I know I'm a criminal, but so are the judges in the magistrate court, and they couldn't really prosecute me. They couldn't do anything because everything they do is illegal. So they just had to kind of, like, I'll just dismiss your case because they can't do anything because they are absolutely acting without authority right now." I mean, she needs to call up and say, "Hallelujah, you might have kept me from prison." I think I probably kept her from prison. The Team Find Richard Halliday. Team Find, I don't know. I don't know. She needs to, she knows her case better um, than I do. But, maybe that's it. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, a lot of letters going on, a lot of stuff coming out. And, a lot of that is with Veronica Escobar. She's really not doing too good because it's getting out there that she's such a loser and that she's tied to a criminal group. She's absolutely tied to a criminal group. All her actions corroborate that she's tied to a criminal group. She is absolutely loyal to a criminal group, not to her constituents. And I think that is that needs to be investigated and looked into. Um, and then, of course, Penny Hamilton and everything that she did, and it goes on and on. And we're just documenting, and submitting. And when we hear, um, we are on. Um, we're transparent. We come online and we tell people. So um, please keep sending in the information. We're it's just a matter of time. Okay, all the pieces are just I mean, the picture is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer what was going on, not only in our son's case, but in the Walmart mass shooting case. There at the emergency intake center on Fort Bliss, there in El Paso. Everything's coming in clearer. We're getting more and more suspects. Uh, yeah, because people see the writing on the wall. They see that this crime is absolutely worthy of the death penalty, and so they're starting to come forward. And so that's we're very grateful for that. Because time is getting really close. People are counting down to Christmas, but they're also counting down to January 20th, and we're very grateful for that. So, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for your love and prayers. Please share this information, and we will be back tomorrow. God